I promised you that I would do this video on like my horrible date disasters. I've actually decided that I'm going to have to do one video for each disastrous date. I went to a speed dating event which my friend, who was older than me at the time, had persuaded me to go on. So at the time I was like 21 or 22 and she was about 26, and she said to me, look, I want to go on this speed dating thing, and my mum told me about this speed dating thing. It's an Indian thing, it's a Patel thing, so there'll be loads of like single men there, so do you want to come with me? And I was like, oh, opportunity to check out single guys, why not? So I wasn't really taking it too seriously, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity of meeting a guy that is looking for a relationship. So I went with her, and this is my first experience of like Indian speed dating, and I have to say it was the most awkward experience of my entire life, because I got there and obviously like you could tell from just like looking at the range of people there that all the girls had gone to quite the effort to make sure that they looked presentable, make sure they'd had their hair done, their makeup done, and then you see the guys on the other side who were, I swear some of them were even in their pyjamas, but one of them had like a football shirt and looked like he hadn't brushed his hair, the other one stunk of BO, and then you had like an arrangement of them that just had really, really unironed shirts and just looked really, really not presentable. So then my friend tells me, look, they're going to sit us in age order, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be sitting by myself with these guys. So the idea was that the girls were sat in like a row and the guys were sat opposite, and there was a bell, and every 3 minutes the guy moved across to the next place. You had like a little checklist and you had a badge to wear. You have a list of like what each guy does, his height and everything like that, and then you literally have like a yes or no box so you can just remember or write notes on like which ones you liked and stuff like that. So I was looking at the guys and I was looking at my list and I'm looking at the guys again and I'm thinking, I'm so not going to need this list. Like there is no one here that remotely looks like someone I would date, which sounds really stuck up, but like if you saw the guys on the 21 to 25 table, they were seriously not looking for any sort of serious relationship. So I was like decided from that moment I was not going to use my checklist, and I just left it on the floor somewhere. So the first guy that came along, you've got 3 minutes to ask them what they do, what they like doing in their spare time. And you got these guys, okay, I don't know if they were really rude or really shy, but you got these guys that would talk to you but look straight past you. And it's like they're trying to check out another girl on the other table, which is like so completely rude because I'm sat in front of you, like talk to my face. And then obviously like 3 minutes are going and you're like moving on to the next person. You're sat like sardines in a can, like you're sat so close to the other couple that you can hear their conversation. So the guy next to you will move across in front of you and you already know what he does and what he likes doing in the spare time because you can hear him. So it was like the worst setup. We decided that it was such a disaster that we were going to go home early. We decided to go, and you have to give them the details of your like contact details and your telephone number because they want feedback and stuff. And what ended up happening was like 2 days later I got a text message from a couple of guys and they were like, hi, saw you at the speed dating thing, really like to see you again. My name is whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like I don't remember them, I didn't write anything down. And then I like ranted to my friend about why they're giving out telephone numbers when they're not matched up. So how can someone just go, oh yeah, I want number 325's telephone number, and they just give it without me saying, yeah, that's fine, give him my number. So I was a bit pissed off at that. And the second guy texted me, and it was a slightly nicer message, and I was like, I don't know who you are, so I must have met him at speed dating. And I thought, you know what, Trisha, stop being a snob, but just give one of these guys a chance. But I was like, you know what, he likes me, that's always a good sign, like let's just go on a date. So we met up at Harrow shopping centre, because I thought, okay, it's going to be a public place, so he's not going to do anything weird. And we decided that we were going to go to Starbucks. So we sat down in Starbucks, and bearing in mind we've been talking for like 5 minutes now, so we've sat in Starbucks, and this girl with a very, very low cut top, like you could see like her back was completely on display, and you could see like she had a tattoo coming up from the top of her bottom area, and I just like watched his eyes like glance across this girl, and I was like, okay, now he's having a perv on the girl, which I had no issues with because I thought, I don't know you, like it's fine, you can stare at other girls while we're on a date, it's not a problem, until he said girls with tattoos really turn me on. I was thinking, I have a tattoo in the same place. Has he seen my tattoo? No, he can't, because I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing like a really long top, so there's no way he could have seen it. And then he went, do you have any tattoos? And I just lied and I just said no. And I just thought, I really, you know, 5 minutes into conversation, I don't really need to know what turns you on. Like, so I kind of like brushed that off. I was like, okay, let's move on. And then we decided that he brought up in conversation that he was going shopping because he was going on a boys' holiday. I was like, okay, that's fine, like, good conversation. And he's like, oh, do you mind if we just go into like River Island, because I want to take some like casual shirts with me and I'd really like a girl's opinion on helping me pick. Okay, that sounds like a fun thing to do. So we went into like River Island and I picked out a couple of shirts that I liked, and he was polite and just like went and tried them on. So he came out of the changing room and he'd done the buttons up all the way to the top on a casual shirt, and I was like, I think it would look better if you just like undid a couple of the top buttons. And he went, why does that turn you on? And I just thought, okay, that's like the second innuendo he's made about getting turned on. Like, this is a bit inappropriate now. So then we went to TK Maxx for some trainers, and I thought, okay, he's trying to get a bit close to me, like when we're walking, so I'll just grab a trolley. Therefore there's lots of space between me and him, and I'm walking around with a trolley. So then what he does, he comes up behind me and puts his arms around me, like holds the trolley, and then there's me in the middle of him and the trolley. And I'm thinking, this didn't really work how I was planning out. It was all right when we were sitting down eating, because there was a table in between us, and it was okay when you were trying on clothes because you were in the change room and there was a curtain in front of us. And then he like threw in conversation that he worked at Google and he was earning 60,000 a year, and I was like, okay, again, completely irrelevant to this first date. I don't need to know how much you earn. Like, I didn't even ask you how much you get paid, and number two, I wouldn't even ask you how much you get paid because that's rude. We're walking around the trolley, so then I let go of the trolley and I was like, here, you take the trolley because, you know, you clearly want to hold this trolley more than I do. And he's like, yeah, but I wanted you in the middle. And I was like, okay, this is just getting a bit weird now because I've only just met you. Like, this is a bit weird. And then we were walking past the shop window and I happened to see this, like, red bikini in the window. And I just looked. I didn't say anything. I didn't realise he was watching, but I just looked at this bikini, like, in the window. And he went, you'd look insanely hot in that bikini. Now I just feel really, really uncomfortable. So then I was like, okay, look, I need to end this date somewhere now because, you know, I just can't do it anymore. So then I said to him, look, I've really got to go because I want to meet some friends in the evening because, you know, this is fucking awkward. And then he goes to me, would you mind giving me a lift to the station? I went to drop him back to the station and he was like, it's been really lovely meeting you, we should definitely do this again. I've got your number now, so I'll definitely keep in contact. And then he leaned in and I was like, oh my god, I've got a split second, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? So I turned my head as if I hadn't noticed him leaning in, and he carried on going in and he kissed my ear. And obviously he had his eyes closed the whole time because he kissed my ear. And I turned around and I just went, you just kissed my ear. And he went, but you just turned away. And I was like, oh my god, you were going to go in for a snog. Like, you just need to get out of my car right now. So I was like, okay, really nice meeting you. Let's do this again soon. I just didn't have the heart to say anything else. And I just felt very, very uncomfortable. And I thought, this is obviously his way of complimenting me. But I don't need to know that I turn him on. Like, I really don't need to know that other people turn him on. I don't need to know that he thinks that I turn him on. Like, I just don't need to know that. So I didn't see him again. He did ring a few times afterwards. Needless to say, we don't talk on Facebook anymore and he's deleted me since, but that was like a few years ago. So that was my horrible date number one. That was definitely the worst date I had. If you stayed until the end of this, thank you very much because it was a little bit rambly, and I will see you guys in the next video for my horrible date number 2.